All right, you're all here to find out what just dropped. It's the new SRAM Red.
New SRAM Red.
What do we got?
We got 13 speed. We've got designed battery. We've got mineral oil brakes. No,
No, none
none of
those
that.
things.
None of those things.
We did get a chance to spend probably about 45 minutes to an hour kind of playing with it, riding with it, and kind of going through the specifics of what it is in person. And then we've obviously been able to check out all of the specs, which we're going to talk about today. Notable changes. There are some things that I think are fantastic, and there's some other things that I would say are just like the same, or it's like just a tiny marginal increase in terms of its ability. So let's go through some of those notable changes first. What would you say that you like the most about it, Lance?
Biggest picture is redesigned hoods. The redesigned hoods, they're more ergodynamic. They're a little bit longer, and they just feel better on your hands.
They do. They're super comfortable. I was kind of looking at them like, oh, that's great that they look a little bit nicer and whatnot. You get on the bike, you put your hands on them, you start to ride, and like, oh, that just feels really good. The other thing, which I think is even a bigger improvement to that, is the fact that their braking power is significantly better. They're saying when you're up on the hoods that it's about 80% more braking power, meaning that you can pretty much brake with a single finger, and the braking power, I can attest to it, is solid.
Yeah, like 30% increase in braking power, which is fantastic.
From the drops.
From the drops.
Yep, and when you're up on the hoods, it's an 80% increase.
Normally when I ride my older Red and I'm on the hoods and I'm using the brakes, I do use two fingers, but it's good enough now that you can use one.
Yeah. I actually was grabbing the brakes and had to come up to a stop sign. There was a car that poked up, and it wasn't anything problematic, but I'm like, oh, I should probably stop a little bit harder. And I grabbed it. I was like, whoa, that was more than I was expecting. So there's going to be a slight adjustment period, but I mean, once your body kind of gets the mechanics of how that works in response, it's something that you're going to quite enjoy.
Yes.
A few other notable changes. What else you got?
They did redesign the front derailleur. It just makes it a little bit crisper. It moves a little bit better. It's not drastic changes, but everything's lighter. The front derailleur, the rear derailleur is both lighter. The hoods are lighter. The braking systems are all lighter. The cassette's a little bit lighter. So they've improved all that stuff. You know, when you get an upgrade in the bike industry, is it stiffer, lighter, and stronger? Isn't that what we're looking?
Pretty much,
yeah. So that's what you get: stiffer, lighter, stronger.
Yeah, and typically speaking too, and I'm going to say that this is kind of notable. Red is notoriously expensive. I mean, obviously it's the top tier, top shelf part of the SRAM lineup for the road group sets. Usually when you get lighter, when you get stiffer and faster, and then there's the increased cost, and like you get to pick like one of these things, and if you want it to be less expensive, you're going to sacrifice on something. I didn't see that from this go round. There are a couple of components that did increase in price, but across the board, it either stayed the same or it came down in cost.
The cassette is a little bit more expensive. The chain is a little bit more expensive. The front derailleur is a little bit more expensive. Everything else is cheaper, if you were.
Well, less expensive.
Less expensive. Nothing's cheap about this.
Don't want to be calling Red cheap. All right, let's go through this component by component. First up, we've got the levers. What do we got going on here, Lance?
They are $675 each.
So you got about $13.50 for the set.
Yep, so much better, but the levers are longer. So you can brake better. It makes the biggest thing about not just the levers and the hoods, they also have a new button on the inside.
You pretty much program it to be whatever you want. It's just like the wireless blips, or you can control your computer, your head unit. You can use it to be for sprint shifting or
climbing shifting.
Yeah, so it's just something that's really nice. It's nice to see them adding that feature. Dura-Ace has had it, or Shimano's had it for a bit, and it's nice to see that SRAM stepped up to the game and built that in addition to the fact that you can still put the wireless blips wherever you want.
Yes.
We've got the new ergonomically designed hoods that are optimized for a wide range of people's hands. You've got carbon brake levers for lighter weight. You've got your textured paddles and hoods for control and comfort.
The paddles are also a little bit bigger.
They are.
Yeah.
The bleeding technology did not change, so that's kind of nice. If you've got a bleed kit, you can continue to use that and do it just as usual. They actually changed the piston design in them in terms of how everything compresses, and that's really the driving force behind giving you so much more braking power, which is nice. You can really get into adjusting the reach and the engagements with these guys so that you can customize it or set it up to your liking. So if you've got different hand lengths or sizes or strengths or whatnot, you can really just kind of fine tune that to best meet your needs. needs.
There was adjustability with the last set, but these are even more adjustable.
Correct. And so from top to bottom, it seems like the hoods are pretty solid. I wouldn't call it something that's earth shattering. It's not like such a big incremental increase that you have to run out and get them, but it is quite nice. I think that it's a nice improvement on what they had before.
Yeah. The front derailleur that has changed, it was previously $430. That has gone up to $450. It enables wireless setup much easier. It's much crisper. It has a different refined cage shape that results in faster and more accurate front shifts. And you could actually feel that as we tested it. It moved quicker and a lot crisper.
Exactly. I was obnoxiously changing big ring, small ring, just waiting for some sort of hesitation, something to get hung up, a chain to get kicked off. Nothing. No. It was just spot on. So that narrower cage with the chain and just the way everything kind of meshes up, it's just super spot on.
Yep.
Very impressed with that. All right, next we got the rear derailleur. You've got pretty much kind of the same setup in terms of what it's going to work with. However, they are now all compatible, and it's just one derailleur, but they are all compatible with up to a 36 tooth cassette, which is really nice. Before, if you wanted to go up to that 36 tooth, you had to spec a different derailleur. Everything is all under one derailleur now, which is quite nice.
Yeah, getting a 1036 cassette on the back.
Yep.
For bigger climbing, it's going to handle that no problem. You don't have to get longer cages.
Yep. It's 16 grams lighter than the previous generation. It's compatible with both 1X and 2X drivetrains. Again, like we said, it's compatible with the cassettes from the 1028 up to the 1036. They did drop the 1026, I think it was, just because nobody was buying it. Yeah, it's got. Oh, and it does have a larger lower pulley.
The lower pulley is 14 teeth instead of 12 teeth. It's gone up just a little bit bigger, which makes it more efficient.
Yep. And it's compatible with all the existing AXS batteries, which is really quite nice.
That's something to mention here. They didn't change the design of the AXS batteries. They haven't changed the how long they last either, but everything is backwards compatible. The derailleurs are backwards compatible with the old system. The batteries are backwards compatible. The chain is backwards compatible. You can move. That's a good move.
Yes. All right, next we've got the new Crankset that's out. You can get it with or without power. The without power option, it went from $743 and it's now $700, which is quite nice. And then we've got the one with the quark power meter built into it. Before it was $1,291 and has dropped down to $1,200.
So a little bit cheaper. Kudos, SRAM.
Not going to complain about that one bit. The whole setup itself is about 29 grams lighter than the previous generation. Power meter's fully integrated into the chainring, so it keeps it nice and light, just like it has been in the past. Power readings are still within 1.5%.
You get the full range of shifts with it. It works very well. It works with dub bottom brackets. That makes it a little bit more durable. You can get it in several different chain ring options and different crank lengths. Gotcha. You can get it in almost any crank length you want, from 160 up to 175.
Yeah, I think before it only went down to 165, so I think the 160 is actually a new addition to the lineup there, which is pretty cool. Riding it though, I didn't notice a difference.
I didn't notice a difference either.
Super solid, super stiff like you would expect from a SRAM Red, but I again didn't notice any difference. So if it ain't broke, don't prove it, I guess.
Yeah.
So just leave that alone.
All right, the chain, it has been updated. There's now like little windows cut in the chain links, which makes it lighter, and it should be stiffer actually. So that's kind of cool. The cost of the chain has gone up a little bit. It was $75 before, now it's $89.
Correct.
But it stays the same flat top technology that the other Red chains had, and it's still the same width, so it's backwards compatible like we said with other ones. But super light, a little bit lighter, and it's a good update for the chain. You can look at it and tell immediately because of the window that's cut out in the link.
$14 per chain, worth it to be 13 grams lighter to you?
No.
No?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is what it is. I mean, in terms of cost of chains, I do like the fact that the SRAM stuff lasts significantly longer than a lot of the competitors out there. So you are going to get a little bit more bang for your buck. If they're going to raise the price, that's one thing, but at least they made it 13 grams lighter. So I'll take that. Not super stoked on the fact that it's more expensive, but if it's going to come at a 13 gram savings with good chain wearing, chain life, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
All right, moving on to the cassette. We've got the new XG1290. Your MSRP on this guy previously was $377 and it has jumped up to $410. designed it's to be like super smooth and fast shifting. I can attest to that. It didn't feel overly different to me, but
No.
on the whole, I mean, it's still extremely smooth and what you would expect from SRAM Red.
It's still one piece, so which it just makes it easier swapping out and changing cassettes that it's one piece. And you can get it 1028 or up to 1037, I thought, right?
1036.
Yeah, 1036.
Yep.
Thank you.
Which is pretty cool. That's before they didn't have that. So you've got your 1030 and your 1036 options that are now available for the Red for the first time, which is pretty cool.
All right, Jake. So what is the star of the show here? What's the thing you're most excited about?
For me, it's got to be the braking system. I think the braking system is significantly better. I love that extra bit of braking power. I like the fact that you can brake so much better with just a couple fingers. I like the adjustability. The new brake calipers are pretty fantastic. Those have been completely redesigned. They're going to be a part of that whole process of giving you better braking power. I think the ventilation on those is going to add to better heat dissipation, and I think that you're overall going to just really quite enjoy that. You've got buttons in there. There's so many good things about that.
Yeah.
What about you?
I guess my favorite thing is that the redesigned hoods. It just feels better in my hands. I have small hands. Look at Jake's hands. Look at Jake's hands. Look at my hands. I have small hands. Small hands, big heart.
Yep.
Anyway, and my hands just fit better on the hoods. They're a little bit longer, but they just feel nicer. And they have that extra button.
Yeah, the button is
The
pretty
button
slick.
is pretty cool. So that's kind
There's
of
going to be a lot of good uses for that. And going back to your hand size differences too, I really like the fact that you can really customize it a lot better to the individual rider so that they can have an overall more comfortable riding experience. So I'm not going to call it a massive upgrade, but I'm going to say that the refinement that they put into this it's a nice upgrade. It's a nice change. I question whether or not I need it personally. It would be lovely to have it, but at that price tag, it's a pretty significant investment.
Yeah.
I question that. But at the end of the day, who is this for, Lance? Who is this group set going to be best for?
Boy, people with small hands?
Small hands. I mean, I think that if you've got the disposable income for it and you're still riding maybe the 11-speed stuff, or if you really have to get that dialed in for you, maybe you do have smaller hands, or maybe you need a little bit better of a fit. That's something that you might want to consider as well. I think that what's going to be most popular though here is everything is reverse compatible.
Yeah.
It's backwards compatible, meaning that
I could just buy the hoods if I
exactly.
want.
You don't have to go buy the whole group set. So you could take off your current stuff, and if you need to, sell them, so sure somebody would be happy to take that off your hands and throw the new stuff on there. You're good and great.
If you're still riding 11-speed, this would be a
great step.
a great step up.
I guess if you've got all the money in the world and you just want to have the latest and greatest, go get it. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
If you're looking at getting anything for your bike, if you need anything red component wise, anything from SRAM or anybody, you can visit Dialed Cycling Lab. We've got some links down in the comment section and a little code for you to possibly use as well.
Cool.
All right. Until next time. Bye for now.